You remember when you got her? You had hours and hours to just drive and dream. You spent your Saturdays fixing whatever needed fixing just to keep her running right. 20 years later, isn't it time you two got reacquainted? When you're ready, we're here. Because at LMC Truck, we know that while time may have passed, your passion for her never faded. Get her back on the road where she and you belong.
Now you're watching Gearz, brought to you by LMC Truck. Keep them on the road.
Hey, welcome to Gearz. If you watch this show very much, you know that we try to feature all kinds of projects and all kinds of vehicles, from hardcore fabrication stuff to simple bolt-on things, to try to encourage you to get out there and get involved in a project no matter what your skill level or your budget. Now, a lot of people think you've got to get an old vehicle to do this. That's not the case. Matter of fact, most of the projects that you have out there in your garages are newer vehicles that you drive every day. So it comes as no surprise that we get a lot of emails from people asking, hey, what do I do to my newer car or truck to make it better? For example, this one comes from Chris from Texas, and he says, hey, Stacey, I just bought a brand new Camaro, and I want to make it stand out. I want to make it outrun the Mustangs and Challengers out there, and I don't want it to look like just another Camaro, and I don't want to void my warranty. What would you do? Those are good questions, and they apply to any project, not just a Camaro. But since you specifically mentioned a Camaro, we're going to show you exactly what I would do to a brand new Camaro. First, to get a cool direction and concept for the build, and to make it unique, I'd hook up with somebody that was historically involved with the Camaro. Someone like my good friend Jimmy Johnson, whose office is literally inside of a Camaro, a really fast Camaro. What would you like to do to a new Camaro? What do you think it would be cool to do?
Well, starting in a pretty awesome spot. So,
yeah. Are you a big Chevy guy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, big Chevy guy. For one, it's all I've ever raced professionally.
Yeah.
Since I was 16, I've been under contract with them. I'm just really excited about the opportunity and build this thing together. And then, honestly, the fun I've had with Valvoline over the years, not only do they take care of what we need to do on the racetrack, but to build these cool vehicles and watch them come to life in the process has always been a lot of fun, so I appreciate it.
Oh, this is going to be great, man. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Okay, with Jimmy on board, the first thing we're going to do is look at the paint on this car, because having something that's a little different than everyone else is what hot rodding and customization's all about. So we decided to make our own stripes using a wrap. Now, when most people think of a vehicle wrap, they think of a wrap that completely covers the whole vehicle. But doing a partial wrap or just stripes using wrap material is one of the hottest things going on right now, and it's much more affordable.
It's really a partial that we put on the car, but
yeah,
it blends so nicely. It's just a little bit of a touch, completely changes the stance of the car.
Talking about the durability of the wraps, it's a marriage between the ink, the media, and the laminate. And so based on that recipe, we offer a very strong durability message to the market.
So, working with the guys at Ape Wraps, we created a unique accent stripe using a new material called frozen chrome. By adding a translucent color to a metallic base, we end up with a material that takes on the look of a satin metal when light hits it. Really cool. Now, the key here, as with any stripe or accent, is to accentuate the lines and attitude of the vehicle, but not overpower it. So, the stripes and the logo are designed to pop only when the light hits it.
By going in and doing something minimal like that is more to accent the shapes and the beauty lines of the car.
Hey, welcome back to Gearz and our old #7 Camaro project. Now, you might be wondering why we're calling it that. Well, because we're using this car to show you the top 7 things that you can do to a newer vehicle to make it really stand out from the crowd. And I put those 7 things together with my buddy Jimmy Johnson, who just happens to have 7 NASCAR championships under his belt. So, old number 7 it is. Now, the first thing that we did, the first thing you can do is modify the paint on your vehicle. And as you can see, we did that by adding this really cool frozen chrome stripe from Ape Wraps. As you can see, just that little bit has really brought this paint to life. All right, with that done, we are ready to move on to number 2, body modifications. If you want something that's different than anything else out there, well, the body probably has to look a little different. So we went to Anderson Composites and got a whole bunch of carbon fiber, because fiber's good for your body, right? Right, take a look. Anderson Composites are well known for building some of the nicest carbon fiber parts out there for late model vehicles. And this Camaro stuff is a prime example. Check out this Copo hood. Now, the first thing that grabs you is this massive functional hood scoop. But if you look a little closer, you'll notice that the whole outer skin is one-piece carbon fiber. But then when you go up underneath, you'll notice that there's a complete carbon fiber skeleton up underneath to give you the strength you need. Then they have the hood latch in place, you have the hardware for the hinges, everything. This is designed to bolt right in place of your stock hood. Now, the rear trunk lid, same sort of deal. If you'll look at this, it's a one-piece outer shell, and then you have a carbon fiber skeleton up underneath to give you the strength. Then you have all the holes, the areas for the brake lights, the brackets, everything, so you can just bolt it on. Now, the cool thing about this is it does away with the wing and gives you a one-piece spoiler. Look at that. So you have kind of that cool old whale tail look. For the front, we have an SS-style chin spoiler. For the rear, we've got a carbon fiber diffuser. And then to tie it all together down the sides, we have carbon fiber rocker panels. So what we've got here is a bunch of parts that are designed to bolt right in place of your stock pieces. They're going to enhance the aerodynamics, they're going to improve the cooling, they're going to be lighter, and they look better. That is why you see a lot of carbon fiber on race cars. Okay, that takes care of the trunk lid and the hood. The rest of these parts we'll put on when we get the car up in the air and start messing with the exhaust and the suspension. But for now, you can see what a difference just a few body panels will make to the look of a vehicle. Now, what I'm doing now is measuring out for the location of my hood pins, because anytime you put on a carbon fiber hood, you really need to use some hood pins just for safety's sake, especially if you're going to be racing. Now, if you're going to modify your panels, maybe do some custom painting on them, I got a tip here for you that'll help you out there.
Now, quick tip. Brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs. Born to burn.
You know, if you're doing any kind of customizing on a vehicle, you're going to find that there's always a need to do some custom painting. But the problem is, what if you do it and you don't like it, or you use the wrong color, or you don't like the color, or you just want to change it? Well, that's kind of a tight spot to be in, except if you use a peel-off paint like this stuff that Rust-Oleum makes. Now, it goes on just like normal paint, but once it dries, you can just peel it off if you don't like it or you get tired of it. What a great idea for customizers or a way to experiment with different colors and graphics. Of course, if you like what you've done, you just leave it on there and it'll become permanent in a few months. If you'd like to learn more tips to make your life easier in the shop, check out the tips page on the website. Hey, we're back and deep into the buildup of the old number 7 Camaro, where we're showing the top 7 things, in no particular order, that you can do to a later model vehicle to make it stand out from everything on the road. With paint and body modifications being number 1 and number 2, now we come to number 3, interior upgrades. For example, this is a brand new SS Camaro, but it's got the same interior that most of us have, cloth. And the interior most of us wish we had is leather. But leather is actually an option for you. Check this out. Catskin is a company that specializes in leather upholstery kits for most late model cars and trucks, and even some earlier vehicles. Now, this is not just some cheap seat cover like you get at Walmart. No, this is real upholstery that's designed to fit your original seat frames just like your stock cloth upholstery. But the big difference is this is automotive grade leather that you can get in all kinds of different colors and styles and options, so you can dial in the look of your vehicle. For example, we have an orange stripe on the car, so we added orange leather inserts and orange thread. There's not going to be another Camaro on the road like it. Now, the kit comes with leather upholstery for both bucket seats in the front, the top panel and the bottom panel, and the headrests, and it also has the complete rear seat upholstery, both the top and the bottom panels. So, we're going to get this nice and warm. We're going to put it in. The first step, of course, is to remove the seats. And for the front buckets, 2 bolts in the back of each seat will release the seat frame from the floor. The rear seat is held in place with friction, so it just pops right out. Okay, to remove the original upholstery, we got to take this headrest off because nothing's coming off until this comes off. Unfortunately, on the Camaro, this headrest is not removable. It's adjustable, but it's not removable. What that means is that the locks are inside the headrest. So you're going to have to disassemble the headrest to get it off. Here's how to do it. First, slide off the original upholstery, then carefully remove the foam. Next, pry the plastic cap off of the headrest, remove the seat clips and the top lock, then slide off the adjuster and pull out the posts. Now we'll take the new headrest upholstery and stuff the foam inside, working it carefully into all the edges and corners. Then we'll cut our hole for the adjuster. Next, we'll reassemble the headrest and slide it into the foam, and then attach it on the bottom, and that's it. For the seats, the first step is removing the old upholstery. Now this is going to require cutting the factory hog rings in the center of the cushion. Then, with the new upholstery nice and warm, we'll lay it in place, center it up, and then start attaching the hog rings to get the leather to contour to the center of the cushion properly. Then we'll slowly work it out and around the edges, smoothing out the wrinkles as we go. Now don't get in a hurry and rip the leather, because that will definitely ruin your day. All right, to upholster the rear seat, you're going to find it's the same techniques, but it's even easier because you don't have to mess with headrests or a moving seat back. You just take off the old upholstery and put on the new. And in just a few hours, you'll have a completely different interior ready to be enjoyed.
And now, Parts Bin.
There's no question that old trucks are cool. And there's a lot of replacement parts out there for the most popular body styles. But if you have a 48 to 52 Ford, well, you haven't had a whole lot of options when it came to replacement sheet metal. Well, that's all changed because LMC Truck has come out with a whole bunch of replacement parts for the 48 to 52 Ford trucks. Take a look. The first thing that grabs your attention is the front fenders. Stamped in one piece in the same gauge steel as the originals, they have all the factory body lines, the curves, the mounting flanges, everything that made these trucks so unique. The hood, just like the fenders, is a one-piece stamping with the right side vents, the right hood openings, and the right inner bracing, so it's going to fit and last just like the original did. Of course, LMC also carries smaller parts like cab supports and gas tank supports and door latches and weather stripping and all that kind of stuff so you can bring your truck back to life. If you have a 48 to 52 Ford truck, you're going to need some parts to keep it on the road. And keeping old trucks on the road, that's what LMC is all about. When it comes to oil and fuel additives, most people know how good Hot Shot Secret is for getting the most out of a diesel engine. But they also have additives for gasoline engines. For example, for an older engine, they have this Stiction Eliminator oil additive that cleans and removes all that sticky sludge from your oil system while at the same time dramatically reducing wear. If you want more power, they've got this FR3 friction reducer, and it's like a supercharger for your oil. This is going to increase your fuel economy and horsepower by reducing friction and adding superior protection. If you're between oil changes and just want to give your oil a boost, they have this TBN booster that replenishes the detergents and improves the viscosity of your oil to extend its life. And finally, for your transmission, they have this TSE Transmission Stiction Eliminator that's going to clean the sludge from your transmission, smooth out the gear changes, and reduce the operating temperatures. It's a proven fact on the dyno and in real-world use that additives can really make a difference in the performance of your engine and transmission if you choose the right ones. And Hot Shot Secret makes choosing the right one really easy. There's no question that today's modern engines are capable of some pretty serious horsepower numbers. So that link between the engine and the transmission has got to be up to the task. And nobody understands that like Hayes. For example, if you're running a standard shift transmission, they have this Street 450 clutch setup, which is the disc, the throwout bearing, the alignment tool, and the pressure plate. And this will give you 30% more clamping force and will handle up to 450 horsepower, but still give you a nice, easy clutch with smooth engagement. Perfect upgrade for your stock clutch. Now, if you're into an automatic, they have this Twister 3/4 race torque converter. Now, this is a heavy-duty torque converter that will handle up to 650 horsepower and all the abuse that you want to throw at it, making this great for any street or strip application. Now, it's also available in different stall speeds so you can dial it in with your engine, and it's available for most Ford, Chevy, and Dodge automatic transmissions. So, if you're looking for a reliable, strong link between the engine and the transmission, you need somebody with a track record of doing it right. You need Hayes. You know, one of the biggest challenges of restoring an old vehicle is finding weather stripping for it, because you're not going to find that at the local dealership. But you will find it at Steel Rubber. Let's say you need all of the body weather stripping for an old 50s car truck. They've got it, all of it. Let's say you just need the glass weather stripping for something. They've got that as well. You need body mounts? You can get that too. Let's say you're working on something crazy and you don't know what you need. Well, they have a universal catalog where you can actually line up the shape, the size, and the diameter of what you need, order it in bulk, and weather strip your vehicle. The best part is they manufacture all of their products using modern rubber and technology. So you know this stuff is going to last longer than those original pieces did. When it comes to weather stripping, you need something that's available, something that's going to fit, and something that's going to last. You need Steel Rubber.
What are you working on? Brought to you by Woodward Fabrication, selling quality metalworking equipment since 1966.
Today's What Are You Working On comes from Fred Tumbleson from Snowshoe, Pennsylvania. And Fred is a recent retiree who said he wanted something to keep him busy in his retirement. So he said his wife, who's also a car person, suggested, why don't we get an early 50s Ford truck? So he said that they hunted around and found a 52 Ford F1. They picked up the truck and started working on it. Check this out. First of all, they completely disassembled it and blasted and painted the frame. Then they started working up from there. Now, the front suspension was discarded, and a Mustang II independent front suspension was slipped in place along with disc brakes and rack and pinion steering. Now, he says his plans for this project are to enjoy it, take it to shows, take it to cruise-ins, and just have fun with his family. And I bet he's gonna have trouble getting the keys away from his wife. So, to recognize such a cool project, we hooked it with our buddies at Woodward Fab, and we're gonna give you one of these big bench vices, because you always need this in the shop. Even if you already have one, you need another one. We're also gonna hook you up with a gift card from LMC Truck to help offset some of the cost of your next project. Also, we're going to give you one of our Gearz shirts because you're obviously a serious gearhead. And then we're going to give you one of our project planning books because this will allow you to keep track of everything that you've done to that project. We're also going to throw in one of our electrical wiring books. Just in case you haven't wired that thing yet, this will spell it out real easy. Finally, we're going to give you a copy of our children's book, The Purple Bicycle, so you can enjoy memories of your childhood. Now, for the rest of you guys, if you want to get in on this, get your project featured on the show, well, you got to send it in to us. You got to go to the website, click on Gearz Nation, and submit it into what you're working on. The website's also the place to find out more information on any products you may have seen on the show, any Gearz merchandise, and how to join Gearz Nation so you can stream any of our episodes commercial-free. Finally, don't forget to like us on Facebook so you can get some behind-the-scenes footage of our weekly web series, Shifting Gears. All right, that wraps it up for us today, which means it is time for you to get out there and start working on something with your own two hands. We'll see you next time.